So if you thought, if you thought Deerheart's no showing was bad, she didn't actually no show. Then Iskin double booking League of fucking Legends
Hell yeah,
over
baby.
the panel is so much worse.
Stream didn't get to watch that shot.
Oh, that was fantastic.
How many of you are in game together?
There are two horses running at me right now.
We're not in game together. I was very scared.
Iskin?
It's just Iskin. I was very scared for the timing myself because I was in a 1-5 against a jury in the SF6 beta.
Okay, well, Iskin,
Won, by the way.
Congratulations to Last. Congratulations to Iskin for winning this game. Welcome. I guess it's wholly appropriate that we have a stream inside the yearly streamer recap panel.
It was just streamed in months. I had to get a quick one in there.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that part too, because this panel is filled with all types. We have me and Last and Val, who stream very often. We have Iskin, who has a pretty put together stream but doesn't stream too much, if at all. And we have Lil Guy Inc., who has been exploring streaming and streamed a little bit in 2022 and is interested in streaming more. And it kind of represents kind of like the future from the start, right? So I wanted to get a panel full of people from kind of all perspectives of it. I know that in a very ironic streaming story, if you stop your stream, I think it comes off of our... Maybe it can come off of our screen. There it goes. Okay.
Iskin, why are you in space?
Space.
Why are you muted?
Why are you muted?
But I know that Lil Guy is moving and Last's webcam exploded. So, and not everyone can be as cool as Valiant Knight, the VTuber, with us. As a resident VTuber. Who might also be muted. Can't tell. Saw his mouth open. Okay, never mind. Iskin in space. His background on his stream is kind of spacey, techie, so it kind of checks out. But anyways, I will give the group a chance to introduce themselves, their channel, anything we should know about them. Something I should have done for other panels already today, but I'll take my opportunity to do it now. Iskin, introduce yourself and give a little intro to your introduction to, or what you bring to this streaming panel, you think?
To the panel or to streaming in general?
Yeah, either or, both. I feel like the in general question is a big question, but just what fits in an introduction?
I guess, hi, I'm Iskin. I am a aspiring, consistent variety streamer.
Perfect.
Yeah. I have plenty of reasons for why this year did not turn into as much streaming as I would have liked it to. But I'm working my way through addressing most of that, so I'm hoping 2023 will be a little more consistent. Seeing if I can figure out what's going on with my background here. But anyway.
I'll let you, by the way, post your stream link in chat so for where we can find you. And I'll ask everyone else to kind of line that up as well as we get to Valiant Knight and Valiant Knight Gaming.
Hello. As I say on my stream, 'tis your Valiant Knight here. Yeah, so I stream, I game, I play pretty much anything and everything, and I actually clicked away from stream just now. Whoops. Yeah, I don't know. What else did you want in this?
Just, I guess, your profile as a streamer is probably the best way to put it. That's kind of what Iskin gave.
Gotcha. I tune him out all the time.
Same.
Yeah. I play a little bit of everything. Lots of RPGs, some shooters. I'm trying to stick with games more often, but I'm not doing all that great at it. So.
And these are things that we will talk about and address in our chat here.
Yep.
Last place finish. Last
What
year
do,
you were
baby?
a part of our events panel, talking about people who was very active in events throughout the year and being a part of the cool things we did on stream. This year we've got you as a part of our streamer panel. So I don't know if that's a demotion or promotion based on your company around you, but I'll let you decide as you introduce yourself.
It's a matter of perspective, honestly. But yes, I'm last place finish. I pretend to be good at video games, even though I'm quite shit. I always try to have at least one story game going at a time, and in other streams, I'll just play multiplayer games and just mess around with chat. Yeah, basically the crux of it.
All right, finally, we have Little Guy Inc.
Hey, I'm Lil Guy. I have been playing mostly roguelikes on my channel this year, and I'm trying to do more music streams. I think in my ideal world, I am mostly going to be a music streamer, mostly me producing beats, songs, jigs, jams, the like. And that's what I'm hoping to do in 2023 once I get my equipment set up.
And I'll ask Last and Lil Guy at some point to put their stream links in chat so everyone can give both of them follows. And I'll just say that I'm obviously Gavin, and my stream profile I'd say would be that whenever someone rates me, I'm a variety streamer with a penchant and a focus on competitive gaming, but we'll play just about everything, and I just try to do cool things every once in a while, cool events like this one that we are a part of right now, the Gavin 2022 Roundtable, where we are going to spend the next hour plus. Last year it got a little out of control. Pushing Hat and Yaz were a part of that panel, and they just took it by storm. We'll try to get everyone to sleep at a reasonable hour tonight, as opposed to last year's panel. Iskin was on that one, and Val was on that one.
Yeah, it was a great panel, though.
It was an amazing panel, and I hope we replicate some of that that sauce today. And I guess, where are we going to start? The question that I want to start with is, I gave my recap as part of a keynote. Give me your 2022 recap. It can be as detailed or succinct as you want. Probably don't take forever. But what did you do in 2022 that stood out to you? What do you want to do? Well, let's start there. Let's just start specifically there. What was your stream year in 2022 in a nutshell? Lil Guy, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the highlight of my stream this year was anytime like Moo Cactus would be in it, or like just anyone that was down to just have a chat with me in chat. It happened a few times during like Risk of Rain streams or Vampire Survivors. Yeah, that was just a good time.
Last place finish. 2022
Yeah.
streaming in a nutshell. How do you feel about it?
I tried going with a 2-week model because I do have somewhat of a inconsistent work schedule, so it would normally get in the way a lot of the time. I think starting next year, I'm going back to 3. I don't think 2 is like quite enough. There's like too big a gap. So, yeah, just I'll always try to have one like story time game. Maybe I'll do like just chill Fridays, have people around, just shoot shit. But yeah, I think I'm gonna head back to 3 weeks.
What can you explain what you mean by your model? Like what you mean by 2-week model? What do you mean by that? Just to clarify
just
for
like
stream.
a consistent schedule I would try to abide by. Right now, it was always Tuesdays and Thursdays at like 5:30 EST.
Oh,
and
2 a week. I thought you meant
Yeah,
2
a
weeks.
week.
Like,
No.
Okay. I definitely think you said 2 weeks.
I might have. My English is not my first English. But yeah, I think I'm gonna head back to 3 weeks, maybe Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and just leave Friday for chill streams. And yeah.
Okay, I have so many less questions now that you clarified. Valiant, what have you got? 2022 in a nutshell for you.
I actually managed to finish a couple games, which is a big thing for me because I usually lose my interest when I have to focus them down on streams. Other than that, I got character art done in a reference sheet for me, so that was nice for my stream.
All right.
Yeah.
Riskin. 2022.
Yeah. So the beginning of this year, I felt like I did pretty well with keeping up with stream. I had a lot of enjoyable ideas and things I enjoyed playing. Elden Ring came out. That's still something I need to finish. But I streamed quite a bit of that. Had a lot of good community interactions with that. Stray was the latest game that I streamed, and that was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
It was something pretty different to what I had streamed before.
All the energy you beat, Mega Man.
like halfway through the year, though, I hit a point where I realized that there was some other things going on in my life I need to focus on. Particularly, some people I've talked to know I was in a job that made it very difficult to actually do really anything other than work and sleep earlier in the year, and so I kind of had to focus on getting out of that situation. And then I also had a long running D&D campaign that I really wanted to focus on, and I found myself too often like coming to the end of a day when I was off work and everything and thinking, okay, I could prep my D&D campaign that I've been working on for 2.5 years that I'm coming towards the finale of, or I could go stream.
Mhm.
And it just eventually I hit the point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna, rather than split my focus here, let me focus on this campaign here, finish this up. And that was very good. You know, it was a, you can ask Valiant, he was one of my players.
Worth it.
Yeah. So um since then, it's mainly been, I've had some performance issues with my computer that have made me kind of it's not really a good feeling every time you start stream to wonder whether or not you're gonna have a functioning game. So that's kind of been one of the things that's kept me from it lately. That said, I'm definitely intending to get back to it January, February ish, depending on how soon I can get that upgrade done and get those issues resolved. But I'm definitely hoping to get back into it 2023 and do it more frequently. Um, Typically, I maintain kind of similar to last. Typically, I do maintain at least one story game at a time, and then usually a roguelike. And then what I'm trying to incorporate more is a competitive game in there as well, one or two, so that I can keep up with some personal gaming progression along with the story games that I'm progressing through.
All right.
Maybe you can play fighting games with us.
We'll dogpile later.
Gavin flamed me for that last time. You can't
We-
just
we-
make every panel flaming Iskin.
We all take turns.
I can certainly try.
Iskin, you mentioned something that I want to take a quick segue from, because you mentioned tabletops being the thing that made you kind of choose between that and streaming. I gave the special announcement earlier, but I'd like to hear your version of the announcement if you're so inclined. If you are just now joining us, we had the keynote at the beginning of our panels telling big events that were happening in 2023. And one of the biggest ones is a massive partnership and collaboration with Iskin. And I'll let him take it away.
Yeah, so over the course of that long running campaign that I talked about, it kind of Gavin came to me at one point and he was like, "Hey, this is something you've been doing for a long time. You've been doing a lot. Would you be?" Or he was basically saying that he was interested in doing a produced campaign with members of the community as players, and he asked me if I'd be willing to DM for it, and I expressed interest. I actually did some discussion and world building with Last Place Finish, which we might get to revisit that as a setting, depending here.
Yeah.
And actually, I would love to have Last as a player if you'd be interested. So it would be a cool thing to do.
Yay.
But yeah, so the intent, or there's a sign up sheet that Gavin announced. And what we would love to have happen is for members of the community who are interested, even like no commitments at this point, you can absolutely hop on, sign up on the form there. And part of what we're looking for with this is just people who are interested from a broad assortment of experience levels. And if you have kind of an out there system you like to play, feel free to suggest it because we have that in there as well. We have 2 or 3 systems that we're kind of mainly looking at right now, and I have some stories floating around in my head in those systems and settings. But we do have room in that form there if you want to suggest something. So like the 2 big ones we're looking at right now are Cyberpunk Red. So if we're looking for more of a sci-fi theme with that, that's a bit relevant now as well because of Edge Runners. So maybe if you have a big hard on for that universe at the moment, then feel free to jump in there and vote for that. And then also, actually, I was recently exposed to a kind of a offshoot of 5e. It's just a book called Anime 5e. And it's basically like 5e, but if you had way more control over what kind of stuff your character gets to do. And again, like totally embracing that anime bullshit that can happen in 5e
Rules
anyway, but we're just making it part of the system now. So if that sounds cool to you, that's actually the one I'm kind of tentatively building off of some of that world building that Last and I did. So feel free to jump into that. We have questions in there about how serious of a campaign you're looking for in terms of like, do you want just like a slapstick lighthearted campaign, or do you want like hardcore, everything is like Warhammer 40k, everything's maybe not terrible, but like very serious, like heavy-handed campaign? Somewhere in the middle, like we have a whole scale. You can vote for what you prefer, just because we want to make sure that we put together a group of players who are really going to mesh well and enjoy playing together, and also just make it the best produced experience that we can.
Yep.
Because that is part of it, is like we are going to be streaming the whole thing.
We want to make something
So-
that's going to look like something that you would download on Spotify or watch on YouTube. That's the goal. I don't know how close we'll get to it, but we want to try.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you guys looked
Matt
into
Mercer.
Pathfinder 2e?
you're
if you-
welcome to suggest it.
Okay.
Yeah, I personally have always DM'd out of the closest thing I've ever come to DMing Pathfinders was 3.5e. So I don't think it would be too big of a jump.
Yeah.
But that's also something that like it wasn't my first go-to consideration. But if we have like a bunch of people who want to play Starfinder, for example, is one of the ones we put in there that you could vote for. If you really want to do Starfinder, I will absolutely learn the system. We can I can pull space campaigns out of my ass any day. So
Goblins.
that is
You
totally
know,
something we
space.
can go for.
And so,
I'm
But
excited.
that's
and-
the point, is right now we really want to leverage, where we really want to find out who's interested and find out what you're interested in doing.
And if you've never touched, I'm going to emphasize this as we drop the point. If you've never played tabletop before and you're interested, we want to have you. We are not looking to get a group of 6 veterans who know exactly what they're doing. We want a group of people who will give the best experience, and oftentimes the best experience comes from the creativity of someone who's not metagaming tabletops.
Fresh
So,
blood.
Just
Fresh
remember, in the first Critical Role campaign, Sam Riegel had never played a tabletop before,
Yeah.
so you can be Sam Riegel.
you can be our
I don't
Sam
know who
Riegel.
that is.
I'm here to be Sam Riegel.
I want to be Sam Regal.
We can all be Sam Riegel, but it has to start with you signing up with the form that I dropped in chat. I'll drop again.
don't
This
know
is
who that is.
mainly to sign up for us to look into reaching out to you to quote audition chat and talk about it, and we'll go from there. That's a pretty massive project that me and you are both planning in 2023. It's definitely, for me, a quote-unquote project. I want to hear what everyone else's biggest grandiose idea for 2023 streaming is, whether it's just beginning to stream, or if it's something schedule related, if it's something technical related, if it's an event you want to run. I want to hear everyone's thoughts on what their biggest, most ambitious goal is, whether it's a stream event idea for 2023 is. I'll start with Lil Guy Inc. Iskin just gave that huge answer to that, so I'll save him for last. He could steal that answer, but we'll start with Lil Guy.
Well, I think there's an elephant in the room, and it's called the Gavin XI Little Guy Inc. collaboration. Put me in, coach.
We were supposed to talk about that.
We were supposed to talk about that, but it's cool. I went on a really nice walk with my girlfriend, so it was fine. But I think that I would love to hear if anyone has ideas about what a musical collaboration could be. Gavin and I have been tossing around things like, covers of songs that we both like. I think something that I was really interested in is I try to produce music where I can't hear it, but Gavin can. And Gavin has to instruct me based on a group of samples or, just sounds that he can select from, like how I should arrange them, and see, like, with a time limit, and see if we can come up with anything cool.
Yeah, we really have with that project have left the door open on the complexity of it. Like, it's either going to be just a collab fun one-off stream or to fully produce music. So we've really the ideas we have for it kind of move at the pace of my backlog almost, because one of them was even attached to Gavin, because every VTuber has to have their background music, so that floated in the background for a little bit. We both just really got into Guilty Gear together, so a few covers on that line. I actually was about to reach out to you about Gravity Rush recently, because we just finished that game and it has an amazing track. We're gonna talk later, and then maybe by next keynote we'll have a sample for you.
So I don't know if you were actually asking for ideas, but something I think would be super cool is something rhythm game related.
Oh,
Rhythm
I
game
don't know-
expert
I don't
and
know if you
actual
could-
musician expert.
Yeah, if
together.
you could make the track and Gavin could chart it, or you play it.
Ooh.
I don't know what that would look like, but
I don't
just
either, but
a thought
that
popped into my
sounds
head.
awesome.
that
You
sounds
know
like
what
a
I'm-
good idea.
You know what I'm hearing? Make a Beat Saber track.
Oh shit!
Learn the song, I'll chart it. Moo Cactus, reminder that Soundfall exists. Moo Cactus, you should have brought that up at the last panel for co-op games that we need to get through, because that's on the list. Last place finish. Gavin XI anime opening. Oh, okay, you guys are ambitious. Last 2023 most grandiose goal.
Most grandiose goal of 2023. Actually streaming consistently. It's a very minor goal in the grand scheme of things, but for me, someone who gets interrupted when he tries to stream all the goddamn time, it would be nice to actually have consistent month after months after months of actually streaming on time and on schedule. I've been getting better with it. Been getting a lot better, but baby steps. Basically all I got, honestly.
Okay. Val, biggest goal for 2023? Event, technical thing, stream?
Probably I will be attempting to go through the Mega Man Legacy Connect collection, or the Battle Network Legacy collection.
Oh my god, you have no clue how much I've thought about exactly how that's going to fit into my streaming year. It's just massive elephant in the room for me.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it all the way through all the games, but I'm gonna try. I might end up doing the thing where I play some of it off stream and just kind of recap it at the beginning, because I love those games and I'm hoping that they still hold me like they used to. And if they do, then I won't be able to be limited just to stream time.
That's too much game for you, Barnacle Boy. You'll never finish it.
Iskin, biggest goal for 2023 that is not our shared tabletop here.
Much like last, it's essentially just to hold a consistent schedule. And a big thing that I want to get better about is actually planning content and following through with it. Because I'm someone who has a lot of ideas for things I'd like to do, and it's really hard for me to pick one, focus on it, follow through on it, because I just have a million of them. And so I think knowing how difficult that can be to do, I remember, I think I mentioned this last year as well, but something that really inspired me was that year that you actually, Gavin, took to basically just 3 days a week stream no matter what. And you did it. So that was, I don't know that I can commit really to that level of just no holds barred, whatever it takes, but that I would like to get to the point where it's a consistent part of my life, as opposed to something that's just kind of seasons on, season off. So that's maybe not the most ambitious goal, but it's there is another side project I'd like to get started on. I don't know that it would actually become a thing this year, but so I'll hold off on saying anything about that. But there's I guess the main thing that I'm really wanting to do in 2023 is get into a consistent schedule that I can hold on to for months.
All right, that actually is an excellent segue to my next question. I'll make a comment about a 3 days a week thing. We're coming up on year 6 of our stream. That was my first year streaming, was where I decided to do 3 days of streaming at all costs, no matter what, and we did achieve that. And I think a big part of that was really measuring out what was achievable and what wasn't. So I mean, I think that's where you start, right? That was a very ambitious goal, but I knew it was possible, so that's why I was able to do it. And everyone finding their own goal, especially to Iskin and Last, of what is the most achievable way to do this, is more important than starting it and realizing you can't do that because you didn't measure it out beforehand. So in the vein of that question, I've hit you with the what's your most ambitious plan for 2023. I want your most realistic plan. The plan that has a 90% or higher success rate for 2023. That is an actual goal or plan. Val, I'll start with you. You're the most put together streamer here. So this one should be a toss up for you.
That's where you made your first mistake.
Mm-mm-mm.
I honestly have no idea. I
I'll start to give you some time to think really quick.
Yeah, please.
So I have
Please.
two things that I know that I'm going to do for sure. I'm going to redo my graphics look, and I am going to tackle at the very least the Azure Halcyon cooking stream, the Gavin game show streams, and the this is I've got a whole year to do it, so I can't imagine that me and little guy can't figure out the music collab. But I want to tackle those three things in particular. I think those are realistic goals to set. What do you think, little guy? What is your most realistic, most likely goal you're going to hit in 2023?
I've been reading this book called Atomic Habits, and I love this book a lot. And one of the big facets of it is, oh my god, my cats are being fed right now. Sorry. Okay. One of the big facets of it is identifying as the thing that you really want to be. So instead of saying something like, "Oh, I'm trying to be a streamer," you say, "I'm a streamer." And making choices every day that goes like, "Oh, would a streamer who puts out as much content as I want to make this choice or this choice?" And I was listening to the community panel earlier, and I was like, "Oh, I think I identify as a member of Gavin's community. I should start acting more like a member of Gavin's community. Like I should be popping in and hosting live." So sorry, a little tangential, but that's my goal: is to just identify as a content creator and put stuff out.
Last, what do you think? I really like that, by the way. That was a fantastic answer, and Iskin approved of your book choice right off the bat. Last, most realistic goal of 2023.
Most realistic goal, making the Friday chill streams, because it's something I already kind of do. I already do it in Discord, where I just kind of hang out with some peeps and we're just dumb and play video games. So why am I not just streaming that? You know? So even if it eats up my Friday, it's what I'd be doing on Fridays anyway. I mean, it's just what I do. So I think that's pretty much set in stone to start happening next year.
Well, you're welcome to join me for 7 days to die at any time.
Hell yeah. All right, last Valiant finish stream collab win.
Anytime, man. Every Friday I play 7 days to die. So we skipped this week for this.
Hell yeah.
But yeah.
See, there we go. Already making plans. Yeah, that's my realistic goal. Joining him for 7 days to die.
Yeah. So since you asked me earlier, I'll go ahead and jump in here, guys.
Go for it. You were next anyways.
Cool. I think my most realistic goal is to actually do more collaborations and not just 7 days to die, which is still fantastic fun. I have a few people I've been reaching out to try to do collabs with, and you were on the list as well, Gav. But I need to actually make it happen. The problem is always trying to find scheduling and figure out what games to play and everything. And I'm gonna make more of an effort to do so.
Yeah, and we just had a giant panel on just that topic, trying to figure out exactly what was the ideal spot to the right amount of people, the right collab to actually make it happen, right? Iskin, most realistic goal of 2023.
So unironic.
You're kind of cutting out a little bit. If the voice threshold got bumped up or something.
The city in the background's losing powers. You gotta say?
Yeah, I bumped the threshold up there to.
Now we lost you entirely.
Don't go quietly into the night, Iskin.
I bumped the threshold up to combat that was earlier.
I think you should just go back to where you were.
You know what? Yeah, let's just make this. Boom, push to talk. All right. So
that won't come back to bite us later. It's not dumb if
it works.
That won't come back to bite us later.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sitting over. Anyway, most realistic goal: fix my audio issues. No, that's not realistic at all. Finish Elden Ring was the one I said. and like voided my mind of all of the things I was going to say. Finish Elden Ring, like I said. I'd like to finish Hades in time for Hades 2 to come out as well.
Oh my god, also a goal.
Yeah, so those are the two that I think I could confidently get done, and also to Valiant's point, stream with people more frequently, because I found that most of my streaming plans tend to be like, what is a thing I want to stream, as opposed to like, what's a game I could stream with somebody, and who would I want to stream with.
I still have some co-op games with
I
Steam
know you
Play.
do. You
I
I'm
gifted
the
you like
worst
3 of
because
them.
people will gift me a game they either want me to play or want to play with me, and I just don't.
I feel like I'm a winner though, because I got Iskin to actually play through Celeste. Like, I'm one of the few people who's gotten what he's wanted from Iskin. Very exclusive club.
Last is still
Must be
waiting.
nice.
Last is still waiting for me to play. What is it? What was it? I bought you or convinced you to buy it, and I never.
Fucking, you mean Killer Instinct?
Yeah.
You cuckold? I don't even want to play it anymore.
Killer Instinct 2 is going to get announced any moment now. What then is okay? So next question. What is so? I asked this question last year, and I got some interesting responses. That because it's not a question you think of often, but as a Twitch viewer who is also a streamer, many of us are varying degrees of Twitch viewers. What is something another streamer has done in their stream that you really liked and want to incorporate directly or in some way to your stream? And I'll start to give you guys time to think about it. Last year, after the keynote, Pushin Hat, who I wish was here with us tonight, he's unable to make it. Shout outs to him, who may watch this later.
Love you, Pushin.
He did something he does yearly, and I hope he does it this next year. I haven't heard much from it yet, but he runs an event called the Hatties, which is his personal event, or their personal awards show for the year. And what Pushing does is he gets a green screen, and he just runs this like amazingly hilarious, awesome production of the Hatties. Like, Pushing Hat goes off screen, wears a different hat. Hey, I'm so-and-so Hat, and I think that Pushing Hat's ideas were dumb, and here's my I fucking love it. It's the best thing. I want to do a more physical, not camera in front of webcam stream at some point. Technically, that's probably going to be the Azure Halcyon cooking stream one day, but I want to make like a little more content than just that involves camera work outside of the traditional webcam and doing something cool like that. So something that another streamer has done that you want to do more of, and you cannot answer having a consistent schedule this time. No 3 in a row. Iskin,
You can't
first.
stop me.
Why'd you gotta pick me, man? All right. So something that a streamer has done that I would like to do. Gavin has run tournaments on his stream before, and it just so happens that I happen to have a $340 pot for the weight loss giveaway. So I would like to run
Couldn't be me.
couple tournaments to give away all that money. So I'd like at least one of those to be a fighting game tournament. And hey, I don't have to play fighting games to run a tournament. Checkmate.
That's true.
And I think a league tournament would be pretty fun as well, though that's something I would probably be interested in playing in. So I'm not sure exactly the logistics of that, but
I'd love to host it for you, and you supply the pot if we want to talk about that later.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be open to a couple of different suggestions, but just the idea of commentating and hosting a tournament where I can really highlight the people playing as opposed to just me in front of a camera all the time sounds really fun, and that's something I would like to do more often, and something I intended to do on the tail end of this year, actually, that I will be doing when I get back to streaming. I noticed a lot of VTubers actually, and you know, real streamers as well, but like, I don't know why I said that, but they'll actually run a heart rate monitor, which I find can actually it's a subtle thing that can add a little bit of spice to the content at times. So I intended in October, again before I ran into issues with my computer, intended to actually, I had a heart rate monitor that I bought, and I intended to play some scary games with it. And so that's still something I would like to get around to doing.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, hey, this is how collabs happen, by the way, in real time. Speaking of league tournaments that I'm not going to beg Iskin for money for, we are doing the ARAM tournament tomorrow at 8 p.m. if anyone's interested in League of Legends. Val, something that other streamers have done that you'd like to incorporate into your own stream somehow.
So funny enough, also a heart rate monitor, because I've been seeing a lot of people do that. But my goal is to have that done by like October, so I can do a scary game, which I don't do on stream. I hate scary games. But another thing is, like, even this year I've been adding more interactive elements. So things like the voice mod, objects to be thrown, what was like sound bites and stuff like that. I've been adding a bunch of interactive elements, and one of the other things I want to do is figure out how to add more like things that I can attach to the model and stuff, have it be redeems or things that people trigger and stuff like that. So just continuing my expansion of interactive elements.
Amethyst is asking you in chat, or you said you had a reference sheet done, right?
I did.
Are you planning on having a new model done? They ask.
Eventually, but it's going to take a lot of time and money to make it happen, because I have to find an artist who is willing to cut up the art that I've already had done as a reference. A lot of people don't like working with other people's art.
Yeah,
even
makes sense.
Full license.
All right.
So eventually, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. And please bring in your questions from chat. We want to make this interactive, as many streamers love to do. Last.
One thing I have considered from streams without active webcams, I might consider making a PNG of my little dragon dude and just using that for a substitute whenever my webcam is exploding, as as it tends to do. I don't think I'll ever go into VTubing. I don't think that's necessarily my thing, but I think a PNG would do just fine. And I see a lot of PNG tubers that are actually like pretty good. So
it's definitely a good backup option, especially if your webcam goes down or you're just having a really bad day.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I'll be one of the first people to say, hey, what are ways I can get more viewers? And if you don't have a webcam or any avatar version of yourself, that's the first thing I'll say, right? Like, even if it's just a PNG tuber, it, it makes a difference. It gives something that's on your screen that's not on another person's screen. Because without it, you're just another silver player playing League of Legends.
And it gives them a reference point for you.
That one hurts, Gavin.
Hey, that's Gavin and this guy's problem, not ours. The technological advancement, by the way, was the premiere of this cat, but we'll talk about that later. Lil guy.
Yeah, I had the idea watching someone play. I think they were playing chess and Pokemon Unite at the same time. And I decided, I've been playing a lot of Brotato. I've been playing a lot of Vampire Survivors. Those don't take like a lot of controls, so I want to try playing both of those at the same time and seeing how far I can get, in the meta progression, and maybe beat
like
both.
One with each hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god! Think of if you like mapped both to the same controls and had to do them with the same.
That would be that would be extra interesting, because like there's each game has like a different like map size, so you'd be like in a corner on one. It's like those puzzles. Anyway.
Yep.
The other thing, I've been really into like other kinds of challenges like that. So I was thinking actually about doing my own League Nuzlocke. I think Gavin's thinking about doing it. Maybe we should do that together.
I'll mention, by the way, that's a great segue into people who haven't been here yet. Please go check out my Discord right now. And if you didn't notice, the 2023 League Nuzlocke is in Discord to sign up for. Rules TBD. It's going to start with the rank season, so but it doesn't necessarily have to be ranked. It can be any queue you want, and it can be any account you want, just whatever, as long as you follow the rules of every game counts towards a Nuzlocke. in whatever playlist you want. You know, I'm gonna also, while we're here, just go ahead and drop the League of Legends ping so people who didn't hear it during the announcement see it. I see Iskin scanning with his eyes right now. So that's the thing that will be happening soon. Abraham not as well. Fuck. Do Abrahams count? No, they can't count. You can't pick a champion. Cool. So again, if anyone has any questions in chat, please throw them at us. We'll get to Q&A in fairly short order. So next question is, I know that we, well, okay, this is kind of another question that we asked last year, but I'm gonna ask a different version of it. The difference between being a viewer and a streamer. Does being a streamer or wanting to stream change the way that you watch streams? I personally, to answer my own question, tend to watch less streams because I stream so much. I don't necessarily think it's too much of a problem per se, but I could probably stand to watch more streams. What's your perspective of being a viewer as someone who wants to primarily or is primarily a streamer? Last, I'll start with you.
That's kind of an interesting one because I myself don't really watch too many streams like full and full. I'll jump in, show my support, maybe drop a sub or two, and then I'll probably just move on to something else. I don't think streaming or being a streamer really has any effect on how you perceive or how you intake other streams, but that's just my take on it.
Okay. Which is amazing, which is a great answer. Lil guy.
Oh man. I guess I also have been struggling. I feel like this might be like kind of a big topic for everyone, but like how to make time to stream or like get the energy to do it. I feel like a lot of times I'm popping into your guys' streams and I love just like chatting and or lurking. And it definitely makes me go, oh, I should probably be streaming right now. like all the time. And so I guess just like maybe for me a schedule would combat that. But I don't know. I guess finding some kind of some way to deal with just like ADHD wanting to bounce around between like the million things I want to do.
Right, Iskin.
So for me, I do definitely have times where I will see something and it some of the streamer magic aspect of it kind of sticks with me a little bit more because I've got in my head like thinking about maybe how they did a certain thing. But in terms of, well, I guess the big thing for me is I think I notice more when content is like a planned thing as opposed to streamers who just kind of turn on their camera and play whatever they felt like playing that night. Like particularly if you watch a lot of League YouTube or League streamers, a lot of times they're basically just queuing up and going and like watching YouTube videos in between, which there's nothing wrong with that, but that as opposed to a lot of variety streamers really do have to more plan their content, plan what they're going to do. If they have just chatting segments, it's like they have a topic that they can come in with. And so for me, as an aspiring streamer who also likes watching, for me, it's more I'm looking at and trying to figure out how they come up with so many ideas that just inspire the discussion and get people chatting more, I guess, because there is a sense in which there has to be something special about you for you to be able to just turn on your camera, play games, and actually grow, particularly on Twitch. So trying to find those different ways that people have, it's very interesting to me the ways that people have found success and grown, and the way that they plan their particular content, and the way that they essentially generate content.
Right.
So I guess I think more about that as a result of streaming and watching.
So it's more of like just the mentality of how you watch, yeah. Val.
Yeah, so watching streamers definitely changes some things as like being a streamer. Um, so yeah, like Iskin was saying, you tend to notice some things more after your perspective of a streamer happens, and like you'll try to figure out how they do certain things or why they did this and not this, or when they're having trouble, like, oh, what if I did that, and if I had that trouble, would I do this? Would I do that? You know, I mean, it's it's a matter of experiences coming together differently. But also kind of like what little guy was saying, energies are a big deal for a lot of people, and for me in particular. Like before I started streaming up again, I watched a lot more, was more interactive.
Mhm.
Like, and that's what got me into streaming, like I mentioned last time. Um, the thing is, when I put energy into streaming, I don't really have much energy left to interact afterwards. And like I raid, I try to chat for a little while, stay for a bit, see if I can get people talking, but then I usually go back to lurking because I don't really have the energy to do more interaction in that way. But I still like want to be there and lurk. I'll still be like watching, listening for a while and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a bit of a perspective change when you stream more and you look at other streams, and then energies are also, like I said, big.
Got it. I want to address what Wolf asked in chat. Is there anything you wish you could stream? I'll open the floor on that instead of asking everybody. I'm trying to think of an answer. There's not many things that I don't stream that I wish I could. I'll just usually stream it. I'm trying to think if there's... I mean, I guess... I guess the most unattainable thing that I would like to stream, let's say that Iskin comes to visit me in DC, an IRL stream would be pretty cool. Stuff like that. I don't know if I do it necessarily with Iskin specifically. I mean, like, it kind of takes away from the visit itself. But, like, that would be a cool thing to do with the right group of people in the right time in the right place. Would be an IRL stream, but I don't really think it's too achievable for me. Just with tech and such. Something you'd like to play, but you might worry about viewers. Azure adds a little addendum there.
See, that's for me. That's part of the luxury of being a small streamer. You don't have to worry so much about the viewer engagement.
I have a very direct example, but go ahead, little guy.
I've always wanted to do. So there's a streamer named Bishu, not league related, just a different guy, who puts on these things called Bish battles, where everyone gets together and flips the same sample into a track, and then he like goes through and listens to what everybody made in the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I wish that I could, facilitate something of just like other people that make music. Yeah, right.
Things that are facilitated by merit of having a giant audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like Marbles on Stream, for instance. Slate Aspire has Spyro Friends that has kind of like a Slate a Streamer mode, but that only really works when you have enough viewers. So yeah, I mean, I feel that.
So
there are a few things that are like that where it really only works if you have a big audience, and so yeah, there are definitely a few. That's not really my answer, but I'm definitely agreeing with that one. Like that's something that I guess we could consider more or less not currently possible for us. Go ahead, Val. I didn't mean to cut
yeah, no worries, man. I was gonna say it kind of depends on what your audience is and what they like. In my case, I love RPGs and I just finish them, but I'm always concerned when I start one on stream that I'm not gonna retain viewers if I play a JRPG, particularly a long one. Like if they're a bit on the shorter side, it's probably not that big a deal because people might be a little interested in them and keep coming back for a few, and then hey, maybe by then it's done. But a lot of them are pretty long, and it takes a different style of personality to be able to keep an audience entertained during JRPG. Like in my case, that's not for me.
And I'll give my example that's not JRPG related, but specific games I don't like streaming. I've kind of fallen into the mood recently that I don't enjoy streaming certain fighting game streams as much nowadays. Particularly, I don't enjoy labbing on stream because I think it's a very poor viewer experience. Other people can make it work, I can't. Right? Like, I'm looking at Twitter Tech on one monitor, it's playing weird audio. I'm just looking back here, trying it 30 times, and to me, it's not a very good experience. And I feel very pressured whenever I do a fighting game stream with the goal of labbing and practicing. That's just like not. I feel a different type of pressure that I have to entertain, but while I'm entertaining, I have a hard time labbing. It's just a really bad feedback cycle. So, I mean, I wish I was a streamer that can make labbing for fighting games work. I have come to realize in 2022 that I am not.
It's hard to make the B-roll while talking over the B-roll.
Mm-hmm. Last, do you have anything that you want to add? I did leave it open, so if you don't have anything, that's okay. But
I honestly don't really have anything on this one.
Okay. I have two more questions I'd like to ask, and then we can get into any final questions, and then we can sort of.
I kind of want to give my actual answer to that question though, really quick.
Please.
Maybe not necessarily streaming, but one form of content creation I would like to do that I don't really know how I could feasibly do at this point is either IRL streaming while like touring places and or moto vlogging are two forms of content creation that just for me it's very relaxing to throw on a vlog of like just somebody's helmet cam on a motorcycle just riding through a cool area. Like for me, taking a trip out to like California and just like riding down the coast would be a super cool thing for me to do, and it's something I would love to actually make content from, but it's just not something I see as being particularly feasible in terms of actually like creating that content and making it engaging for people.
Right. It would be certainly for yourself. And if it was for yourself, would it be worth it, right?
Right.
That actually is a good segue. I was going to ask this in a different order. But in 2023, are you going to do anything to change the way that you create content? And I guess for the people here who don't stream as often between Iskin and Lil Guy, this might be a weirder question, but Lil Guy actually specifically is in the business of content creation on the side, or the hobby of content creation that is not streaming, so he might have a very particular view on this question. But I asked this because my thoughts, I'll answer this for myself first. Content changes in 2023. I mean, I'm going back and forth on it. I want to make more short form video. So YouTube Shorts / TikTok, I want to kind of look towards there a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to stream less for it. I don't really want to stream differently. But if I have time on the side, kind of making a little bit of a focus on the side there. If I want to change content, it looks like a little guy dropped for a second. He may or may not be back.
No, my little guy.
There he goes. Okay. But is there anything you want to change about your content creation or delivery in 2023? Last, any thoughts on that? Or do you want to just keep doing what you're doing currently?
Honestly, I think me just doing what I'm doing is for the best. Like, I enjoy streaming the most when I'm just being myself than just being dumb with the way I deliver things and just how I play games. Like, if I'm not having fun with it, why would I even pretend to be something I'm not, right? So, and I mean, viewers can notice that. They'll know when you're not having fun playing a specific game or streaming a specific way. So, I'm just going to be me, just doing the streams I like to do the way I like to do them. And if people want to watch and witness the stupidity, then hell yeah, come along.
Iskin.
So I kind of alluded to it earlier, but the biggest thing for me is actually planning out content with the intent of just having more to do as opposed to just like picking a game and playing it, for example. So just having more to my stream and planning out content that way. So that's kind of a different way of delivering it, I guess. And again, I'll reference that other project I talked about. I'm kind of working on in the back or kind of have on my back burner at the moment, but that would be a different way I deliver content as well. But
Little
the
guy.
main one is
go on, sorry.
planning the content.
Got it.
I kind of have the opposite. There's a lot of things I wanted to do this year that, I actually probably haven't like most of an album done, and I don't see myself putting it out. And I think that like the philosophy I need to change is to then instead get good enough and go, and kind of like turn that into my mantra, because like at the end of the day, like what's the point in putting like 30 hours into a piece of content when it's like just as likely to get viewed as when I could put like 3 hours worth. So I'm definitely just hoping to, make the ideas like roughly see if any of it sticks or if I liked making that, and then just like not being scared to put myself out there and using that to, give me the energy to keep going.
And Val, finally.
I think my knee-jerk reaction is to say no, I'm not going to make any changes because I like stability and steadiness and occasionally doing random chaotic things. Big changes aren't really something I go for, but like I said before, I'm trying to do more collabs, and I think that collabing is a good way of changing up how you deliver your content because it brings in other people, other ideas. It brings in their people too. So I mean, you get some cross pollination of viewers going on, and their interaction brings new interaction from you. So I'm hoping that makes a change in the way I deliver some content.
All right. Okay, so my last question of the night is one that many of us think about and have many thoughts on it. Some of us will approach what we want very differently with this question. Chat, if you have any questions, we'll take Q&A after this. And I'm sure we can spend a little bit of time on that, and then we'll open the floor to anything you guys want to talk about. Probably close up near the top of the hour. My question is, I don't think this is too controversial, but it can be. Do you want to grow your community in 2023? And if so, how? So it kind of ties into the content question, because for me, the content changes for me is, quote, like how I want to deliver some of it. I want to explore YouTube and TikTok more specifically, or other short form video. And I kind of hope that grows my community a little bit. I don't want to grow it in a way that loses my identity. That's very like bold to say that I'm gonna get enough viewers, that I can get enough viewers to change my community's identity. But that's where the controversy lies, right? Like, what do you want your community to be? Because if you grow it, it can change. So there's the question: do you want to grow your community in 2023, and if so, how? Val, I'm gonna start with you for this one.
The short answer is yes, but I don't know how. I'm very bad at social networking and getting myself out there. I mean, even offline. So finding ways to outreach to other people is a struggle, and it's going to be a struggle, but I'm trying. So yes, I'm hoping that my channel grows. I'm hoping that my viewership grows. I get more steady people. I get more people I can share with other folks as I collab with them.
Right. And I think that collabing is a great place to start with that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Last, do you want to grow your community in 2023? And if so, how?
I mean, of course I want to grow my community, but I think the main reason I've stagnated for as long as I have is purely because I wasn't consistent. Anybody who's part of my Discord sees the hey guys, this stream's canceled because the 6 train it blew up. So if I can just get past all the inconsistencies, I think the channel will grow like innately. And eventually, when that stops bringing in substantial results, then I'll think of, all right, what can I do next? But as for now, I think that's just the major step.
Iskin.
Yes, I would like to see my community grow. A big part of that last alluded to is be through consistency in streaming, and also some of the other things I mentioned about planning content, planning side aspects to my streams that would just get people interested to come and hang out for a little bit and hopefully stick around. And then also, like Val mentioned, collaborating a bit more. So essentially having series that people are interested in watching, and then playing with people that playing with others that viewers are interested in watching, and watching the exchanges between us and such.
All right. Finally, Little Guy Inc. Do you want to grow your community in 2023? And if so, how?
I would love to grow my community in 2023. But by the way, everyone follow me. But I feel like just going out, and so something I've noticed. I just moved to Seattle, and this is the first time I've like really like tried to talk to other people that I'm meeting and like really get to know them. And so I'm hoping to at least kind of get some sort of branding kind of stuff on my channel where I'm happy being like, oh hey, like check out, I've streamed some days like on this day. Like if you're not doing anything this night, like you should hop on. I feel like sometimes we really expect the platform to do it for us because it used to. Like probably like honestly when Gavin started, like the community was around the whole Twitch channel like could support like bringing in new streamers, but now it's really hard because there's just such a vast sea that I feel like just connecting with individuals and being like, hi, I do this, watch me do this, is a good start.
All right. And you know, you talk about networking in person. I mean, we had Funktastic here for the first panel. And I met him through the local fighting game community, right? I go out of my way to not advertise my stream to the fighting game community locally. I'll mention that I do stream. I'll mention that clips from my stream, but I don't advertise my stream, right? This kind of naturally falls into it, and just like having that network, but not like, I mean, it's good to have something consistent for people to find in your orbit rather than you telling them, hey, I stream, right? At least that's how I look at kind of the idea, quote unquote, of networking. So Amethyst asks, we'll take a few questions from chat. Are there any skills, games you'd like to stream learning? And I'm going to also use that as a chance to plug our Discord. You may have missed it in the keynote. We'll be making an official announcement of it soon, but we are opening 2023 resolutions. That's kind of the expansion of the idea behind the 2022 weight loss challenge and things like that, where you can pick anything you want and we will help track it and kind of help keep you accountable on any stakes or pledges you want to make for anything you want to learn in 2023. We'll track it the same way we've been tracking the weight loss challenge, but that goes for resolutions of any kind in 2023. I don't have any text on the Discord for it yet. We only mentioned it at the beginning of the keynote. We'll be mentioning it very quick soon after the subathon, because you'll have until the end of January to kind of help me help you organize that in our Discord. So my plug's over there. But that kind of is where I'll take Amethyst. I'll mention that as an addendum to Amethyst Taco's question. But are there any skills or games you'd like to stream learning? Iskin, what do you think?
Well, the low-hanging fruit is fighting games.
I was gonna say fighting games.
Saw that coming.
Fighting
I'm gonna say fighting games.
I wasn't.
This is why you're the better of us, Val.
Sometimes, maybe.
Something I would like to, I don't know how feasible this would be, but something I think would be that I could add to my stream is more of my musical background. I have a very classically trained pianist's background, but something I'd like to be able to do a lot more on stream is be able to either take song suggestions or improvise. That's something I've never done a whole lot of, and it's something I'd like to learn and get better about, and something I think could be fun to incorporate into a stream. That would require pretty active audience participation, though. So, and also I'd have to figure out a way to do that with my piano setup and everything.
Yeah, that was going to be my
It's-
next question. Are you looking into the technicalities of getting a keyboard mixed into your stream or a piano mixed into your stream?
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is like I'd have to figure out a camera setup for that, and I do have a keyboard, so I don't know that it would be too difficult to capture that. But it could be. Like I haven't looked into the technicalities of it. That's something I have thought about, considered, but some of the inspiration for that was actually Valiant earlier in the year. Was playing trumpet on stream, and I thought that seemed pretty fun.
I'll add to
Attempting play.
Amethyst Taco's question. These are things you'd like to stream learning, but you're not really committing to it, and it's not something you've had to have put a lot of thought into. My answer to it would be drawing again, is to learn how to draw on stream. I don't really think it's going to happen, but it would be cool. I'd like to do it, but I don't really think it's too feasible with my schedule nowadays. That's one of the options, by the way, for me and my 2023 resolutions channel. This year going to be that or more weight loss, one or the other. Val, what have you got? Any skills or games you'd like to stream learning?
As Iskin mentioned earlier, I really do need to go back to relearning the trumpet. It was quite a struggle to remember how notes and valves went together. And I kind of gave up to it when I got sick, or gave up on it when I got sick, and didn't pick it back up. So, really.
All right. Last place finish.
Funnily enough, I'm actually also in this sort of musical circle because I've had an interest in a bass guitar for a long time, and I've finally acquired one through a happenstance. Funnily enough, a little guy here was gonna give me some pointers on how to get started because I just
should do a stream of lessons.
hell yeah, because I have the guitar in my possession. I don't know what to do, but it's there. It is a fairly old guitar, but I've had an interest in bass, and I was super into musical theory a while back, so this is something I've been wanting to do. So I don't know if I'll ever fully incorporate it into like a consistent stream like learning process, but it would be fun to do like a couple one-offs of just like practicing techniques and like getting new song rhythms down.
The domino meme? This is Gavin hosts a thrown together keynote roundtable panel, and it ends with us releasing a
Making a
five-person
band.
on Spotify. 5 streamers who play the flute, piano, trumpet, bass, and guitar enter into a stream, and we make an album. Little guy, what's your skill you'd like to learn on stream, or game you'd like to learn on stream?
Question. Is Project L announced for 2023?
No, but likely.
Okay. I would love to, like, whenever that game comes out, I think that's going to be the fighting game to get me into fighting games. I had a great time with DNF Duel, but I feel like I've played League for, like, God, a decade now. So I'm really excited about that.
Is this where we exchange lessons in our arts? We give you fighting game lessons. You give us musician lessons.
Yeah, I'm so down. Although I bet Iskin is way better at piano and keyboards than I am. So I'm not classically trained.
Yeah, but you've played fighting games one time, so you're better at fighting games.
I beat him in the tournament. What are you talking about, Gavin? What?
Listen, a broken clock is right twice a day, all right?
Got it.
Last, you're the one who trained me for the tournament. What?
Meanwhile, little guy's like, wait, what?
The betrayal.
All right. Any other questions in chat? Last chance for them. Thank you for the question, Taco. To my fellow panelists, I will open the floor. Is there anything that we have not talked about? Any topic you'd like to open for an open floor discussion that we have not talked about so far this panel?
I have one. and feel free to shoot it down.
Okay.
What about suggestions for the other streamers here?
Yeah.
Like improvements or notable things you've seen, kind of stuff.
I will allow this so long as we are all mature and don't get into things that let's just be
I
gentle.
will make no promises.
We'll be gentle to each other. I mean, there's the it's gonna disappear. Okay, there's the obvious one, right? The obvious one for me to people in this chat is consistency, because that's my whole shtick. Is that I built my initial stream off consistency, and I am very active about putting out a schedule at the beginning of every week that I follow. But that's because my life is organized by my Google Calendar. And if my Google Calendar tells me to do a backflip, I'll do a backflip at 1:58 p.m. Right? So, I mean, that's my take to everyone, is be more consistent.
I'm gonna need to see some receipts on that one, sir.
If my calendar did tell me to do it, I would. I didn't say it did.
Gavin,
Listen,
put
if I was
those-
over there for a week, he could do a backflip. I've seen it.
But my recommendation to go ahead. You want to Val?
I was gonna say, Gavin, put those workout redeems on your calendar.
I know, right? Actually, we're going to talk about that. The subathon, basically, we're going to redeem a workout every 2 hours, is my goal. I have a shoulder injury, more or less, right now. I don't know what's wrong. That's not our problem. So workouts are a little, not the greatest sentence to say out loud, is it? But we're thinking about it. How many push-ups do you owe us now? Who fucking knows? Grow it. Anyways, no, I would say my suggestion to other streamers would be, to answer the be more consistent question, is to make a weekly schedule and follow it. That's my suggestion. I think you'll find that, I mean, if you can't find the willpower to create a schedule, then the answer of streaming quote unquote more consistently is kind of like a moot point. Because I think that like the prior planning is what makes consistency a real thing or not.
I think that's a good point. And I'd suggest that if you make a schedule for, let's say you make a schedule for the month, and like you can adjust the days a little bit here and there as you need to, like say work things come up in last case and whatnot, or the subways just become a monster infested place more than normal. Alternatively, you can also add in like some leeway, like, hey, yeah, I've got my schedule for the month. 2 days is all I can cancel. I like give yourself some room, but stick to your schedule otherwise.
Be more accurate than not.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Like even if you only manage to get one stream in a week, just get one in.
But you guys already know that. Any other things to Val's open floor question?
I would say one that I've been trying to implement myself, and it's really for all of us here and for any streamers getting around in the chat. Do more raids, even if you've only got like 3 people. Like, just basically ignore that viewer count number and just give a raid at the end.
I have my thoughts on raiding are, I always try to raid. I saw that demo. I always try to raid a channel with less viewers than me, because I mean my goal is to make someone's night with a raid, because I know when I get raided, it, like, especially from a stranger, it makes my whole night, right? I get to like be the host to the audience I wish I had, right? Because that's exactly what's happening. So when I do have the lower viewer count, I'm less inclined to do it. That's just me personally. That's just general thoughts on rating. I think that you're right at the end of the day, but I kind of have my own policy, quote unquote, for it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I just see it as a way of, people get happy when there's a raid, especially if it's a smaller streamer, even if it's only a few people, because that's a few more people that maybe hadn't looked at them before. Whether they stick around or not, it's a different story. Of course, everybody appreciates if they do. But like, even if you rate somebody with more viewers than you, it's, I mean, if you want to look at it as advertising, you can. If you don't, then it's just sharing what love you've gotten from your viewers and passing it on to somebody else.
I would also love like a streamers only, I don't know, Discord channel, chat, some kind of group where like I could coordinate with all y'all about like questions I have, or like, hey, how do I, what if I want to get into V2? I don't know how to set any of that up. Like just like basic like streamers helping streamers thing. Maybe like I want to kick around some ideas. So if you guys would be interested in organizing something like that, I think that would also help with the accountability aspect of it.
That's not a bad idea. I like that idea.
We could even make, I think there's already a partner tag in your Discord, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like super well moderated, but you know what? Let me I'll write down some thoughts tonight and over the next week. Just kind of like a streamer hangout, or I don't want to make it feel like an exclusivity thing. But
Yeah.
no, I mean the function that you're describing is incredibly important. To have that community. Yeah, well, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Even if you
fighting
leave it
game
open
community
for
taught me that.
Discord.
It's really important to have a community.
Technical difficulties channel. Okay. Nias Burrito is going to have the final question of the night. Did anyone else have a thought on Val's question? Just something that you'd like to see improved on well, that's not exactly how I put it.
I think
You'd like to see in
this
our
is,
people's chats.
This is something for myself, and I'll let you decide whether this applies to you. Something that I think you really see with people who are up and coming streamers, big streamers, that you tend to not see so much amongst people who are just kind of streaming for the fun of it, which there's nothing wrong with that. But like, and something I need to be better about is solidifying my stream identity. So if someone were to ask me, my answer wouldn't be as vague as just, oh, I'm a variety streamer and I play games. There's not necessarily anything wrong with that if your goal is to just have fun with it. But if you do want to grow, there is an aspect to where you do need to solidify your identity for who you are as a streamer and what you bring to the table that people come to you to watch. So that's advice for me as much as it is for anyone who decides that if you, for me personally, I feel like I'm pretty vague as a streamer. I had the bald thing going for a little while, and that's not even that unique, but that was about the closest I felt to feeling like, yeah, I'm the bald bearded guy playing Elden Ring. And so some people they got Soulsborns are their thing. Um, VTubers have a pretty natural one. They have their lore and their aspect of that, and they build a whole character around it. But you do also have lots of other people who have something unique that they bring to the table that really identifies them as a streamer, and I think that's really important to figure out and do.
I mean, what's your tagline, right? So like what's the Val probably has the same idea. So when I get rated, my immediate response is, "Hello, my name's Gavin XI. I'm a variety streamer with a penchant for competitive games. I'll run things like tournaments, fighting game community, things like that." That's not a particularly huge identity, but having that line in mind is where you start to form it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I can do better for it, but you should know your slogan, right?
Your elevator pitch.
Your elevator pitch, exactly.
I think that's great advice, Iskin.
I think it's something I can improve on.
Yeah, I'll give an example for one thing that I really want to make more of a thing with me, just as an aspect of my personal life, something I've thought about a lot more. For me personally, my most despised thing about just about anything I do is that I will find that I can improve really quickly up to a certain point, and then I end up settling in that like bouncing around mediocrity level. And it's incredibly gratifying when I find something where I can break through that and actually get good at it, like genuinely good at it. And I've gotten really bad about doing that, or bad at doing that. It feels like more lately in my life. So like, if I were to pick a tagline that I would like to apply to myself, if someone were to talk about my stream, I want to be the guy who is about ruthless improvement. Like I want to be the guy who I've stagnated for like 3 weeks. I'm figuring out why. So like every time someone comes to my stream, they see me like actively picking apart my own gameplay, figuring out ways to improve at things. And that kind of goes with my name inspiration as well, right? Iskandar, the King of Conquerors, right? That whole idea is like, for me, I kind of took that. I built a D&D character around that identity, which is actually where the name Iskin comes from. But so for me, I would like to actually internalize that more personally and as a streamer, is just not just being content with being salty at something that's difficult, getting over it, beating it, and just being that guy who's like, if I'm bad at something, I'm gonna figure out why, and I'm gonna get good at it.
I think that if I'm going to take anything away from this panel, it's going to be what Reptar said, or what Low Guy said near the beginning about your identity, right? And I think that Iskin, your answer just now, just perfectly tied into that idea, because if I were in your boat and I was thinking about that, I would want my identity entirely to be the guy who's known for relentless, ruthless improvement, right? And then everything I do in my personal growth is through that lens, right? I think that just combining what you two have said throughout the night about that is kind of a powerful thought.
Yeah, I got some of that too from Atomic Habits. Particularly, he talked about the idea of, now I don't 100% subscribe to the exact idea of a 1% improvement every day, like he says there, because there's a point where that's not really tenable. But the idea of just that constant improvement, like I don't want to, as someone who's played League of Legends for 10 years and is not that great at it, I'm kind of tired of like just hopping on every day and being content to be the same skill level when I log off later. So that's my brain goblin that I'm walking into 2023 with. So that's something I'd like to turn more into an identity for me.
So that Rom asks the final question I'll ask of the night, and I really like this question because it's kind of like the opposite of what Val said. Val had a great question. Rom has the opposite side of the coin. What is the greatest strength of each other streamer? You may or may not have a solid answer for everybody. I'll give you all time to think about it while I answer it. So I think that Iskin's greatest strength is more of a potential strength than an actual strength that I'll call out. I think Iskin's amazing in the way that you've approached your tabletop. And I feel like the moment you find something in your stream career that you can take with that level of strength and willpower is going to be an amazing product, an amazing thing. I think Val, you've built a very awesome, tight-knit community where I never come into your chat and see people having a bad time. I think that's super cool. I think that you've carved your little your little community circle of really strong, tight-knit people. And you just enjoy, and you're getting better and better at picking out games that you enjoy playing with your friends. Last, I mean, you're kind of doing the same. I think your greatest strength is probably your ability to collab, because you do a lot of collab streams. You put them together really often, and they all look like you're having a great time. So I think that's probably your greatest strength that I'd like to see more of from you and with different people. I'd like to see what happens when Last makes a collab with more than 2 people. I'm very curious to see if you can like start tapping like that like organization creativity, because I'm curious what that would look like from you.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually dabbled with the idea with several like friends of doing more team-based games online and just having like a larger group for collab streams. So it's definitely been on my mind.
And then Lil Guy, I think your probably greatest strength is kind of like where Iskin is, just based on you not streaming as much, but your potential to really come up with unique ideas that are not like every time you stream, I almost feel like he's going to do something different and wild. And maybe you do have that consistent base of like just playing League of Legends or just building a little bit of music. But I think you probably have the greatest potential to do just wildly different streams that are unique and just individually produced for each stream. And maybe you don't do as many, or maybe you just really have that like cool every 3 weeks he's just going to do something wild with somebody. I think that there's cool potential for there.
Yeah, thanks, Gavin.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. And I'm just going to go in the order that I see people on my screen. Gavin, for me, the biggest strength you have as a streamer is that you come up with ideas. And whether or not I personally think they're good or not, you do come up with a lot of ambitious ideas and you do follow through on them. You've had a lot of this whole volumes idea with your stream. This is something that you've been really good at, making a theme for your stream and planning out like a months long series of content you're going to do and actually making a production out of it. So that to me is like your biggest strength as a streamer, is like you do come up with an idea, and you like, we get to watch it. I as one of your mods who like discusses some of the stuff with you, I get to watch this go from your idea phase to your working through the bad parts of the ideas phase to like turning it into a production, and then at the end of at the end of the volume, like not specifically volumes, that was just the low hanging fruit because it's the most recent thing you've done, but like I've frequently gotten to see you come up with an idea, even like the League Nuzlocke thing, um coming up with an idea and then just following through on it, kind of come hell or high water, no matter how it's going, you like knuckle down and get through it. And that's something that I see as a big strength of yours. Valiant, you are like the consummate chill streamer, even when you're not being chill.
I don't know how I feel about that last part.
To Gavin's point, you really do, you attract people around you who maintain a certain chill atmosphere. Even if you're raging a Call of Duty, like I can be there in your stream and it's still a chill time. It's just, even if I can like just picture you over there like big old anger vein. Like, yeah, you like if I come into your stream, I'm expecting it to be a nice chill relaxing time. So that to me is a big strength of yours. Last, you mentioned this is something you like about it, and I very much, I feel like you are very good at making a stream clippable, in that
You can say I'm stupid. Yeah, it's fine. Just go ahead.
I was gonna say slapstick, but like
Whatever
it's
you want
just
to use.
the way you play games, you make it entertaining. Whether or not the gameplay is that entertaining, like you make what's happening on stream fun to watch because you're the one doing it. So it's rare I walk into and then leave a stream of yours without thinking like of a particular quote or something that is not clippable, and it's just so you are a very you're very good at making moments of streams very memorable, and like getting that off the wall energy. And yeah, for little guy,
It's okay if you haven't seen any of my streams.
well, I was gonna say I haven't seen many of your streams. I've seen some of your streams. So maybe this isn't so much a strength as a streamer. So I'll kind of tap into what Gavin was saying here. I have known you or been around you at least in varying degrees for a long time, and you've always been one of the people that like comes to mind. One of the first few that comes to mind when I think of just ludicrously talented individuals who I've been around, both musically and just artistically, and even in gaming. Like you are one of the people who I can point to who has hit pretty high levels in games that you've been interested enough in to do that. And like, again, musically, you're a very accomplished musician. And you're just, yeah, you're just, to me,
That's
that
cool.
almost feels a little bit cheap to say, but like you are just very, very talented. And I feel like, kind of similar to what Gavin said, you could, to me, it feels like if you really solidified a streaming experience and you really kind of came up with those unique ideas and found a way to do them, you to me kind of feel like Bill Wirtz is to YouTube, where like you pop out every once in a while, but it's like everything you put out is golden, kind of a thing. So that's kind of what I feel like is really strong about you, is just you ooze creativity and you have the talent to back it up.
Someone clip this, please. I'm gonna play this to help me
Already
fall
did.
asleep every night. Just like recorded in my headphones, just nice things about me. Thank you guys. It really means a lot.
I'll go ahead and go next if y'all don't mind.
Go for it.
So some of my points are fairly similar with you, little guy. It's been a while since I've seen any of your streams. I don't know if that's just because
I've been moving. It's a whole thing.
Okay. Last one I remember actually watching for an extended period of time. You were playing Gunfire Reborn, and I just remember a lot of good energy, high energy, but the kind that would draw people in and keep them there. And so one of your biggest strengths, I think, is your energy that you put in when you play games.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, no worries, man. Last, I got none.
Yep, that's about
No.
right.
No, I was thinking about what Iskin said, and yeah, you've got a lot of very clippable moments. You would probably do very well in the TikTok realm with those, by the way.
I've been told to dabble in it. I just haven't done it yet.
I mean, if it's something against
up to
TikTok
you whether or not
specifically,
that's a
go into
compliment.
shorts.
I mean,
YouTube Shorts is
listen-
getting bigger and bigger. YouTube Shorts is
Listen,
getting more and more
if I
worth
can
it.
get someone to laugh, I don't care how stupid I look. It's worth it.
And see that kind of ties into my thoughts on your biggest strength, and that is your personability. You're very personable, very outgoing with the people that you end up chatting with in stream and whatnot. And I think that is a fantastic thing for you. Now, Iskin, you have really good technical ability. And you have the determination as well as the skill to modify that.
Can I
So
point out the Dwayne the Rock Johnson eyebrow raise he gave you to that statement?
Yeah, no, I think in particular to some of your boss fights in Sekiro, like you could go in and you had the base skills needed at the time, but then you had to refine them constantly.
Yeah, that's why I'm mad about him in fighting games, because Sekiro is a
Yeah.
fighting game, and
That's why
this guy's
I'm
a
mad
FromSoft
about him in
game.
fighting games.
I had a feeling that was going to come up, but yeah, no, you're really good at taking what skills you have and refining them to get the results you need to.
Appreciate that.
And then, Gavin, you have fantastic production value. You put so much effort into everything that you do, all the events, even just your normal streams, like those your what are they called? Like the starting screen, the be right back screen, those kinds of things with the pictures and the slides and the scrolling banners and everything that you end up making for your streams as you go and have special events, even if they're a one-off. You have a great skill at production value, which I know is your job, and you translate that into your hobby as well. But it works. It's great.
Appreciate that. Yes, this is the Wholesome Hour. The original question was, what do you think is the greatest strength of each streamer? By Rom.
Am I up next? Is
You'd
it
like to
my
be.
go? All right. I guess I'll just start from left to right from my order. Gavin, I think your biggest strength is you know how to make these shows into sort of a presented spectacle. Like when it comes to like big events and like panels like this, like the special streams, you know how to properly advertise it, you know how to properly like sell it to people that this is a great big thing, and people always show up for it. It's always a super fun experience. I just really admire the way you can actually just get people to recognize that it's about to go down. And yeah, it's just always a spectacle. Iskin, I want to say your greatest strength is just how chill you are when it comes to streaming, even when it's not necessarily the most chill games you play sometimes. I'll go back to the Sekiro streams because I did watch those as well. Even in like the most intense moments, you'll give like and that'll be about it. I just think your personality when it comes to your streams is extremely like fluid, and it just works really well for your content. Val, your model for VTube. Okay, don't look at me like that. I mean, you're not. I really dig the model. I mean, that's just an easy fucking just shoot that one right off the bat. 2, you are also really good with engaging your viewers while you stream. It could be like a high view count, it could be a low view count. You're always constantly trying to engage with them, like no matter what you're playing. And I think that's something that everyone who cares about their community should aspire for. And hello, guy. I'm really glad I saved you for last because we have done some streams together in the past. We've done the Gunfire Reborn streams and the Risk of Rain streams.
And a
You were
Rumbleverse, I think, in there.
Yeah, exactly. The Rumbleverse streams that I thought was actually multiverses at first, which we're not
Right.
going to talk about that. You're just fucking funny. You're like one of the funnier streamers I've had the pleasure of streaming with. Your quips are just on the ball every single time, and it's just a great dynamic. And I can't wait for you to get back to streaming consistently, my dude.
Thanks, dear. I'm going to take that because you're done, right? You got
Yeah.
everyone? I'm going to go myself. So, last, I also think you are a funny motherfucker. I have loved doing co-streams with you. I hope we do a lot in 2023. I totally echo Iskin's point where he says that you were very clippable. Just so you know, anytime you upload a YouTube video, if I have the time for it, I am watching it. And then Val, I really have appreciated that. I feel like you've really been kind of finding out like who you are and then just putting that out there. And like that's kind of like what your stream identity is about. And I think that's really cool. I think that's something I want to take into my year. Again, I also have not caught many of your streams, but I have known you for a very long time. And I it's crazy because God, it's been like 9 years now with like a long period of time where
Mumble days.
yeah, like so long where there's a middle period of time where we just didn't talk, but I was so happy to see like I feel like now whenever I hear you like open your mouth, I'm hearing like growth mindset and like just like trying to be better every day and like really just like applying yourself. And I think that's really cool. And then Gavin, I think that you have really strong branding. I really feel like when there's the Gavin XI stream, it's like, dude, I gotta tune in. Like I don't like whatever is going on this day. Like I'm really excited for tomorrow's subathon. I'm hoping to catch as much as I can, but like you are one of the few streamers I will make time to watch.
Thank you.
I love you all.
You're looking forward to the subathon than
I
I
love
am.
all of you.
All right. I don't think there's a better way to end this panel. But that said, everyone else got it. So final thoughts from everybody as we close out. Anything you'd like to say to everyone, to each other, to yourself in the future for 2023? Giskin?
Follow through with it, please.
I mean, Iskin, you're gonna be on next year's streamers panel whether you want it or not. So
Yeah.
think about what you're going to say to yourself to this panel in 2023.
I'm gonna look back at 2023. I'm gonna say, "Fucking did it, boy! I did it."
I did it, Paul.
Val?
Hey, look, Ma, I made it.
I'm just gonna say I hope I streamed well and had fun. Like that's really all I'm here for.
Last?
I think 2023 is going to be a much better year for streaming for all of us since we have really good streamer friends and really great friends in the community. I think everyone's going to have a much better next year.
And finally, low guy?
Get good enough to go. I said it earlier. I gotta just do shit. I'm gonna do the things I want to do.
All right. So with that, I think we're going to call this panel adjourned.